Good morning, everyone. This is our last service for the month of November and our theme of mission and vision. Next Sunday, instead of having a service posted to YouTube, we will be having a small group session at 10:30 and then a coffee hour to follow. The link will be sent out through email. I'm going to start with some opening words. We pause this hour to honor the Spirit and to accept ourselves as fragile humans, equally full of nobility and strength. We gather, weary of life's trials, yet cheered by infinite possibilities for love's grace. We meet with smiles and glad voices for old friends and new, every stranger a gift of potential friendship. We rejoice in the keen intellect and the warm heart. We remember those whose opportunities and needs our society thwarts, and we give thanks for the blessings that are ours. We praise all who extend a hand in service and whose vision of justice commands action. We pause, we gather, we rejoice, we give thanks, we praise. We proclaim our community. It is time for our chalice lighting. I am now going to light the chalice in front of me. If you have a chalice or candle at home you would like to light, please do so now. We light this chalice, symbol of our faith alive in this world, naming our vision of collective liberation, and daring to remember each other into a beloved community. Our first reading is, It's Not Easy. I'm amused by the view that it's easy to be a Unitarian Universalist. It's as easy to be a UU as it is to search the murky waters of life without sure charts to guide us or any guarantee that we will find a safe port in which to put down anchor. It's as easy to be a Unitarian Universalist as it is to overcome the natural fear of the unknown and venture forth with nothing to sustain us save our zest for living and our hunger for new experience and new knowledge. Our way in religion is not the way of ease. We are called to be sailors, for many worlds exist waiting to be discovered, and not the least of them are within ourselves. It takes much persistence, courage, and curiosity to look into our own depths, to come to terms with the twin mysteries of being alive and having to die, to see ourselves in new and larger ways without being dishonest about our limitations. We have only begun to discover our potential. Our second reading is Crossing Bridges. When I was very young, my family often went camping at Assateague Island on the Maryland shore. It was a long drive, but there were lots of adventures on the way. The last adventure was crossing the Verrazano Bridge over the Sinnapuxent Bay. This was one of my favorite moments. As we approached the bridge, my father would holler back to all of us kids, "Look out, it looks like we're going to land in the water." The Verrazano Bridge rises sharply, so you can't see the other side until you get close to the top. As you approach, it feels like you will fall right off the edge of the bridge when you get there. Creating adventure was a theme in my family. My father would take us out on Sunday drives just to get lost. He would say things like, "Let's just turn down this road and see where it takes us." My mother would take us on penny hikes, flipping a coin at each fork in the trail to see which direction to walk next. We explored trails, creeks, and went bushwhacking a few times, always looking for new adventures. Growing up with an appreciation for the unknown and creating adventures in unexpected ways has served me well. I like to try new foods and activities, go to places I haven't been to before, ride roller coasters, especially ones in the dark. I love Star Trek because they boldly go where no one has gone before. I like to explore new ways of doing things, even when I'm not certain how it might turn out. Sometimes I do like to reinvent the wheel, and I try very hard to think outside the box and invite others to open the box for me when I get stuck inside. Unitarian Universalists step out into the unknown all the time as we embark on our spiritual adventures. We go searching for new ways to make meaning of our lives, to create a more just and loving world, and to answer questions of ultimacy together. We seek creative ways to raise our children with inquiring minds and loving hearts, and to provide them with the tools to navigate an unpredictable future. We cross bridges and borders as we learn to navigate the multicultural world around us that challenges us to expand our worldview and embrace new ways of engaging a challenging world. Whether we are crossing a bridge from a place of comfort to challenges we never anticipated, or from our own cultural norms to completely new worldviews, we have resources, friends, and mentors to guide us. If we are crossing the bridge from youth to young adult, or from career to retirement, somehow we find the tools we need to navigate our way to the other shore. For this amazing journey, we carry in our backpacks a sense of wonder, a sense of humor, and a lot of courage. Our compass is the compassion we hold for all of our neighbors. Our sustenance is the joy of discovering our true selves and experiencing the divine in one another. Our map is the sacred covenant we hold with one another to walk this journey. With so many tools to guide and support us as we approach new bridges, it's not such a leap of faith to trust that we will arrive at the distant shore. Together, we can boldly go where our vision and faith calls us to go. Our sermon for this week is Building the Beloved Community by Reverend Fred Small. When I was in 3rd grade at Evergreen School in Plainfield, New Jersey, my best friend was John Carvana. At 8 years old, I was awkward physically and socially, and I was drawn to John's intelligence and easy grace. The friendships of young boys are less about whispered secrets than about hanging out and kicking around. I didn't know how deeply John and I saw into each other's souls. I just liked being around him. In 1962, after 4th grade, my parents sent me to private school. One morning that July, John rang our doorbell, but we were packing for our family vacation, and I told John I couldn't play that day. I never saw him again. Over the years, I wondered what became of John. He was young and black and male, in a dangerous time to be young and black and male. On his last visit, he'd come to our back door. Looking back as I learned about racism, I wondered if he felt he had to come to the back door of a white family in a white neighborhood in 1962. Passing through Plainfield in the 1980s, I tried to locate John, but found no record of him. 2 days ago, I found John Carvana online. He's a career coach in California. I dialed the phone number on his website. A voice answered, "This is John," and the years fell away. He remembered me after only a moment's hesitation, remembered my house on the corner of Kensington and Thornton. A conservative Republican, John acknowledges racism, but refuses to be limited by it. We talked about his spiritual journey, and mine. I asked him if he could remember why he came to the back door nearly half a century ago. "Oh," he said, "that was just the direction I was walking from. I didn't think of you as my white friend. You were just my friend." Our relationships across race are laden with doubt and uncertainty, with symbolism and misunderstanding, with inferences, accurate and inaccurate. Often, despite our best intentions and efforts, our friendships fail under the weight of so much painful history. I look forward to renewing my friendship with John Carvana. I look forward to a society in which these friendships are natural and commonplace. There's a name for that society: the beloved community. Martin Luther King Jr. envisioned a beloved community of love and justice where the races would be reconciled and the deep and terrible wounds of racism finally healed. Our ultimate goal, King said, is genuine intergroup and interpersonal living, integration. Physical desegregation is not enough, King insisted, for it leaves us spiritually segregated, where elbows are together and hearts apart. In 1966, after the March to Montgomery, King was among several thousand people delayed at the airport. As I stood with them, he marveled, and saw white and Negro, nuns and priests, ministers and rabbis, labor organizers, lawyers, doctors, housemaids, and shop workers brimming with vitality and enjoying a rare comradeship, I knew I was seeing a microcosm of the mankind of the future, and this moment of luminous and genuine brotherhood. And today he'd say sisterhood too. Many of us remember Martin Luther King Jr. Still more of us have heard his voice and have been uplifted by his dream, a dream deferred. But you and I need wait no longer. We can build the beloved community right here in this church. The mission statement of this congregation proclaims your commitment to be a force for social justice as you work to create beloved community. Time after time, you've been asked your values, your goals, your aspirations. You have answered, we want to be more diverse. When you gathered in Finding Our Future house meetings, 2 of the 4 themes that emerged were more diversity and social justice and outreach. The report from Your Renewing Our Calling cottage parties called for diversity and a fearless attitude of pluralism. It is no mystery to how to grow a multiracial, multicultural congregation. We now have solid empirical data on racially diverse churches, from which 7 principles emerge. First comes intentionality. Diversity happens not by accident, but by decision, conscious and explicit. There are many people of color hungry for what we offer: spiritual freedom without shame or dogma, affirmation of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, including gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender sisters and brothers, commitment to social justice. But we must let them know they're welcome here. Second is diversity of leadership, both lay and ordained. People need to see themselves reflected in faces of authority. Third is inclusive worship embodying a variety of styles and traditions. The more upbeat and demonstrative the music and worship style, the more diverse the congregation. Fourth, location matters. Most multiracial congregations are more diverse than their surrounding communities, not less. Fifth is consistent outreach to those communities with meaningful ministries. Sixth is adaptability. We have to be willing to examine our old ways of doing things and see if they still serve us and the diverse congregation we seek. We have to be willing to change. Not our values, not our principles, not our spirituality, but our habits and prejudices. To be open to new people, we have to be willing to learn from them. Seventh, racial diversity cannot be itself the ultimate goal. It must be part of a larger mission. Our mission is love and justice. Love and justice are incompatible with de facto segregation. We are entering a new era. By 2042, white Americans will no longer be a majority. Today, 3 out of 4 Americans aged 70 and older are Caucasian. Of Americans 10 and younger, only 1 out of 4 is Caucasian. Young people are far more comfortable than their elders with relationships across race. If we remain overwhelmingly white, we will lose our relevance and forfeit our standing in this changing world. When we build the beloved community, our every passion and program will be deepened and strengthened. In the weeks and months ahead, I invite your ideas about strategies and steps toward the beloved community. When she was in her 20s, Ginger Ryan lived with friends on an old farm in the Hudson River Valley. None of them knew anything about vegetable gardening. They spent a lot of time turning over the soil, forming rows, and planning what they were going to plant. But they didn't really know what to do next. One day, when they were standing around the garden, the previous owner, an old Sicilian named Mr. Solari, dropped by. Ginger's friend Erica was playing the violin to encourage the soil. Mr. Solari laughed. "When are you going to plant? What are you waiting for?" He grabbed a package of corn seeds, dug his hands in the dirt, and planted a whole row, 3 seeds in each hole. When are we going to plant? What are we waiting for? A dream deferred awaits our hands and hearts. Let's dig our fingers into this fertile soil and grow the beloved community. I am now going to blow out the chalice in front of me. If you have a chalice or candle in front of you, feel free to blow it out as well. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world. And now our closing words by Reverend Jean Ricard. We have a calling in this world. We are called to honor diversity, to respect differences with dignity, and to challenge those who would forbid it. We are people of a wide path. Let us be wide in affection and go our way in peace. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your week.